One thing have I desired of the Lord, and that one thing I seek, to dwell in your house forever, to behold your beauty. Oh, Jesus, I pray beholding your beauty would not be a Sunday at 5 p.m. thing only, but it would be the pursuit, it would be the chase, that throughout the week, Lord, truly, our heart's posture is your presence transforming our lives. Your presence, Jesus.
to believe in a true love that gave us a brand new beginning. No room for a king, no celebration and no ceremony. In that little town, no nobody. This is the story of the coming glory. Can you hear the prayers that people pray? Can you see the skies begin to break? When heaven and earth were face to face, oh how the world forever changed. For God is with us. God is with us. All in a moment, all in an instant, the body was broken and it was finished. So let us begin the celebration and the ceremony. There's silence on earth that the heavens are pouring, telling the story of your coming glory. Can you feel your heart begin to race? Can you see the tide begin to change? With all of our futures rearranged, the world will never be the same. For God is with us. 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 Dare to imagine, dare to believe in a true love that gave us a reason for living. Can you feel the heart that's rushing in? Can you hear the song that's happening? Join with the choir and the sing. This is where love truly begins. Oh, God is with us. 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 All can you see, all can you see? God is with us.
Please, everybody, stand and help me welcome Travis Green, everybody. He's done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. If I had 10,000 tongues, it still wouldn't be enough. Cuckoo, now what am I really? When you will get him completely. Cuckoo, I want it more. If he came to love, we came to love. very much for me. Come on, everyone! What shall I render?
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Welcome to Spectrum News Within the Week. I am Rita Eamon, coming to you live from New York. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu reunites VK, Fubara, and lawmakers. JAM raises concern over low slip printing ahead of 2025 UTME mock-up exam. Plus, Israel says it hit 900 targets in Iran since conflict, killed 11 nuclear scientists. Details of these stories and more in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned. We begin the news within the week from the national scene where President Bola Tinubu on Thursday reunited the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, suspended River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and members of the State House of Assembly. Reports say the resolution of the crisis came after a meeting between Tinubu and the aggrieved parties at the presidential villa, Abuja. The meeting with the president came after an earlier one between Fubara, the FCT minister, and the lawmakers. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onauga, in a post on his X handle, confirmed the development, noting that President Tinubu demonstrated he wanted peace for River State. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Friday expressed optimism that the modern bus terminals in Abuja will improve security and ease transportation challenges in the Federal Capital Territory. Tinubu added that the terminals will in no small measure contribute to his administration's zeal to improve the fortunes of the people through improved connectivity, reduced travel time, and economic growth. The president, who was represented by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, spoke at the inauguration of the Kubwa bus and international taxi terminal in the FCT yesterday. He challenged FCT residents to cooperate with the management to ensure its smooth operations, explaining that his administration decided to prioritize high-impact transportation infrastructure because of the undeniable fact that no nation records progress without modernizing and expanding its public mobility and utilities. In the meantime, the presidency within the week announced the historic appointment of Grace Morenike Henry as the new chairman of the National Council of the Nigerian Region. This appointment, approved by the president, marks a significant milestone as Henry becomes the first female and first non-commissioned officer to assume the leadership of Nigeria's foremost veterans organization. The spokesperson for the Nigerian region, Abdul Lawya, made this known in a statement made available to newsmen. He said the appointment, conveyed through a letter signed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, takes effect from June 7, 2025. According to the statement, Grace Morenike Henry, born on October 5, 1964, brings over 25 years of distinguished service experience, having retired from the Nigerian Army in the year 2000. Elsewhere, President Bola Tinubu on Friday declined to assent to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Bill 2025. The president's decision was contained in a letter read by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, during plenary. The proposed law seeks to empower the NDLEA to retain a portion of the proceeds from drug-related crimes, a move Tinubu said contradicts existing financial regulations. In Tinubu's letter, he said under the current system, all proceeds of crime are paid into the government's confiscated and forfeited properties account. Tinubu noted that the existing procedure ensures accountability and oversight. Away from that, the federal government within the week urged African nations to seize the current global economic shifts as an opportunity to lead from the front by putting forward a unified voice that drives inclusive development, asserts economic sovereignty, and expand the continent's influence on the global stage. Speaking at the ongoing 32nd annual meeting of the African Export-Import Bank in Abuja, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, called on African governments and stakeholders to recommit to the principles of unity, resilience, and self-determination. The Finance Minister expressed Nigeria's enduring commitment to continental cooperation and integration, describing institutions like the Afrexim Bank as central to Africa's advancement. He urged participants at the high-level meetings to recommit to the ideals of partnership, resilience, and self-determination that have guided Africa's march forward, stating that these ideals of partnership, dignity, and mutual prosperity binds everyone as one people with a shared destiny. And from the Red Chambers, the Senate on Friday urged the federal government to seek foreign help to enable the country overcome the growing insecurity in the land. The Red Chamber was reacting to rising cases of bandit attacks and the killing of military personnel and innocent Nigerians by armed bandits across the country. It advised the government to charge the Nigerian Armed Forces, the Nigerian Police, and other security agencies to be alive in their responsibilities as well as develop innovative ways to combat the rising spate of insecurity in the country. The Senate also urged the federal government to collaborate and engage with foreign influences to develop modern ways of fighting insecurity with the use of technological and scientific means to save and protect the lives of its patriotic officers and men in security agencies to minimize casualty level during operations. The resolution of the Senate followed its consideration and adoption of a motion titled Armed Bandits Attack on the Nigerian military base around Kwanan Dutse, Mariga local government area of Niger State. Urgent need for the federal government to step up and upgrade its security apparatus to check the rising spate of incessant attack by bandits and terrorists. Meanwhile, the Senate Public Accounts Committee (SPAC) within the week issued a 10-day ultimatum to the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), Bayo Ojulari, to respond to audit queries involving trillions of naira in public funds. The committee expressed dissatisfaction over NNPCL's failure to appear before it, despite earlier demands for explanations to 11 critical audit queries. The queries stemmed from significant discrepancies uncovered in the company's financial records, which drew public concern. The committee rejected a formal request from the NNPCL seeking a 2-month postponement of its appearance, citing the absence of key officials who are reportedly on a management retreat. Describing the excuse as unacceptable, SPAC's chairman, Ahmed Wadada, stressed that the matter required no fresh documents but direct answers to pending questions already presented to NNPCL at its last appearance. And in the meantime, the Senate on Thursday confirmed the appointment of Dr. Thompson Oludare Sunday as the Managing Director and Dr. Kabir Sabo Katata as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC). Their confirmation followed the adoption of the reports presented by the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions during plenary. Presenting the report, Committee Chairman Senator Adetokunbo Abiru said both nominees were thoroughly screened and found to be eminently qualified with no petitions or adverse reports filed against them. He therefore urged the Senate to approve their appointments, which was subsequently granted. Meanwhile, the Senate within the week paid glowing tributes to 2 eminent Nigerians, former Kwara State Governor Cornelius Adebayo and former Minister of Education Professor Jubril Aminu. The upper chamber's resolution followed the adoption of 2 separate motions moved by the Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Ashiru Uyilola and Senator Abbas Iyal. In his lead debate, Senator Ashiru extolled Adebayo's legacy and service to the nation, while Senator Iyal praised Professor Aminu's remarkable contributions to Nigeria's educational and diplomatic sectors. In its prayers, the Senate urged the federal government to immortalize both statesmen by naming national monuments in their honor in recognition of their roles in national development. In education, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, on Friday expressed concern over the low turnout of candidates who have printed the examination notification slips, an essential requirement to sit for the upcoming month of UTME. In a statement issued by the board's spokesperson, Fabian Benjamin, JAM revealed that as of the morning of Friday, the 27th day of June 2025, only 12,442 out of the 98,232 registered candidates have printed their slips, representing a mere 12.6% turnout. On labor matters, the Federal Capital Territory chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) within the week threatened to mobilize its members to shut down the territory following the aerial council workers' lingering strike. The NLC chairman, Dr. Stephen Nabai, stated this in an interview that the territory will be shut down after President Bola Tinubu concludes the ongoing project inauguration on July 3rd. According to the union, the move is to draw the attention of the FCT administration, especially that of the Minister Nyesom Wike, to the ongoing strike. Reports say all primary healthcare centers across the territory have been under lock and key. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on Friday announced August 16, 2025 for the conduct of by-elections into vacant seats in the Senate, House of Representatives, and State Houses of Assembly in 12 states. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who announced the date at a meeting with leaders of political parties at the commission headquarters, said the by-election will involve about 3 million registered voters. He, however, said that the commission will not conduct by-elections into Kana State constituency in Rivers State as a result of the current state of emergency and Talata Mafara South State constituency in Zamfara State, following a legal challenge to the declaration of the seat vacant by the State Assembly. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umar Enoch within the week directed the State Commissioner for Finance Bob to take over the coordination and supervision of the Ministry of Special Duties and Ibom Deep Sea Port to ensure that all projects and programs continue seamlessly and are delivered within timelines. Briefing Government House correspondents shortly after the State Executive Council meeting, the State Commissioner for Information Anyekan Umana said the decision was part of the resolutions reached during the meeting. According to him, the Executive Council considered a presentation by the Ministry of Youth Development on the Akwa Ibom State Youth Development Roadmap and approved the hosting of the Arise Skills Development Week from July 13 to 15, 2025, to coincide with the United Nations Youth Skill Development Day. He stressed that ESCO further approved the commencement of youth engagement programs, including the establishment of youth-friendly centers across the entire state, which will serve as a hub for learning, collaboration, and innovation, with a pilot in Oyo, the state capital. Meanwhile, to improve water supply, sanitation, and hygiene in the state, the Executive Council reviewed the various WASH documents presented by the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, including the Akwa Ibom State WASH Policy, WASH Monitoring and Evaluation Framework, the roadmap for making Akwa Ibom State open defecation free by 2030, and the Akwa Ibom State Water Regulation Bill 2025, directing the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice to ensure transmission of the draft bill to the State House of Assembly for consideration and passage into law. The information boss also disclosed that the Executive Council also reviewed the state's investment books and directed the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation to exit the state government from non-profitable companies and ventures, further approving the inclusion of the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, and the Commissioner for Finance are statutory members of all boards of government-owned establishments. He noted that in order to rekindle sports development and ensure youth sport activities in the state, the Council, following the presentation by the Ministry of Sport, approved the hosting of Akwa Ibom State Sports Festival 2025, noting that the activities will commence from July to September 2025, with a coordinating committee to be headed by the Commissioner for Sports, Elder Paul Bassi. The Executive Council acknowledged the celebration of the Civil Service Week and congratulated the head of the civil service and public servants in the state for a very impactful celebration, promising full participation of the state government in events lined up to celebrate the week, which will climax with a Thanksgiving service on Sunday, June 29th. Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that the governor further thanked council members for their support throughout the period of the state's progressive movement and further tasked members of the Executive Council to recommit to the ideals of the Arise agenda by working extra hard to ensure the delivery of the dividend of democracy to the people. And still to come in the news, CBN to diversify Nigeria's reserve base. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. They are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Risk on your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, simple rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying tuned. And now to the rest of the news stories. Moving now to Africa, where President William Ruto on Friday officially signed the Finance Bill 2025 into law, marking a crucial moment for Kenya's economic landscape. The comprehensive bill aims to streamline revenue collection, improve the business environment, and foster innovation-driven economic growth in Kenya. The Finance Act 2025 introduces several key amendments across various tax laws, including the Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, and the Excise Duty Act. Reports say a significant highlight is the mandatory requirement for employers to automatically apply all applicable tax reliefs, deductions, and exemptions from employees, aiming to ease the tax burden on salaried workers. Meanwhile, Kenya's interior minister within the week accused protesters of a coup attempt after deadly demonstrations were witnessed in many cities and towns across the country. The interior minister Kipichumba Makomen assessed the damage to businesses in the capital Nairobi, where goods were stolen from multiple stores. He said the police would follow up with owners whose CCTV cameras captured the looters to ensure swift arrest. Recall that Kenyans mobilized Wednesday protest on social media platforms to mark the first anniversary of huge anti-tax protests when demonstrators stormed parliament and at least 60 people were reportedly killed and 20 others missing. And on the foreign scene, Israel's military says it struck more than 900 targets inside Iran during the unprecedented Operation Rising Lion. The Israel Defense Forces IDF claimed the operation killed 11 Iranian nuclear scientists and 30 senior security officials, including 3 top commanders. The IDF in a statement noted that the operation struck more than 900 targets overall, destroying 200 missile launchers, which the IDF claimed accounted for half of all the Iran's launches. The strike also destroyed aircraft and missile production sites, thereby preventing the manufacture of thousands of additional missiles. And still on the foreign scene, Iranian lawmaker on Wednesday voted to suspend its collaboration with the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) because the UN nuclear watchdog refused to condemn US strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities and ruled that Tehran had failed to comply its nuclear obligations. For the decision to be ratified, Iran's Guardian Council needs to vet the legislation. The decision still requires the approval of the Guardian Council, a body empowered to vet legislation. In Parliament, 221 lawmakers voted in favor and 1 abstained, with no votes from those present in the 290-seat legislature. Lawmaker Alireza Salami said the suspension of the cooperation would mean that the IAEA inspectors will be barred from assessing nuclear facilities unless they obtain the approval of Iran's top security body, the Supreme National Security Council. Meanwhile, Japan on Friday executed a man who murdered and dismembered 9 people he met online. In the nation's first enactment of the death penalty since 2022, Takahiro Shirashi, 34, was hanged for killing his young victims, all but one of whom were women. After contacting them on the social media platform now called X, he had targeted users who posted about taking their own life, telling them he could help them in their plans or even die alongside them. Justice Minister Keisuke Suzuki said Shiraishi's crime carried out in 2017 included robbery, rape, murder, destruction of a corpse, and abandonment of a corpse. Japan and the United States are the only G7 countries to still use capital punishment, and there is strong support for the practice among the Japanese public, surveys show. And still on the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump within the week called for Israel to pardon Benjamin Netanyahu, who is on trial for alleged corruption, or drop the case altogether. He also claimed in a social media post that the US had saved Israel, alluding to its intervention in Israel's war with Iran, and would now also save Netanyahu. The Israeli Prime Minister denies charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust for which he has been on trial since 2020. Meanwhile, Israel's main opposition leader, Yair Lapid, criticized Trump's statement, saying he should not intervene in the legal process of an independent state. On our business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) plans to diversify the nation's reserve base. The governor of the CBN, Olayemi Cardoso, gave the hint at the opening of the AFREXIM annual meetings in Abuja on Thursday. The foreign reserve diversification refers to the practice of central banks and monetary authorities reducing their reliance on a single currency, usually the US dollar, by holding a wider range of assets in their foreign exchange reserves. This involves increasing holdings of other major currencies like the euro, yen, and yuan, as well as assets like gold and special drawing rights. He did not provide details on the diversification but said it will be part of the reforms by the monetary authorities to better position the nation's FX market in the interest of the economy. And still in business, the federal government sold crude oil valued at 219.38 billion naira to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in the first 4 months of 2025. The government also earned $1.59 million from crude oil exports in April 2025. During the period, it suspended sales of domestic crude allocations to the Dangote Refinery and local refiners. These details were contained in an internal document from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, submitted at the Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting and obtained by newsmen on Wednesday. The Federation Accounts Allocation said a total revenue equivalent to 2.53 billion naira was realized during the period, based on an average exchange rate of 1 million naira to the dollar, as provided by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Meanwhile, Nigeria, Egypt, and Morocco have been listed as the highest recipients of the $95 billion remittance into the African continent in 2024. This was revealed in a State of Africa's Infrastructure Report 2025, published by the African Finance Corporation. This report indicates that the diaspora remittances have been proved to be more stable than foreign direct investment and official developmental assistance. And still in business, the Nigerian Port Authority and other stakeholders in the maritime sector have called for a strengthened national policy framework to tackle marine debris and safeguard the future of Nigerian oceans. They made the call in Lagos during the 2025 summit of the Shipping Correspondents Association of Nigeria. They lamented that the marine debris impairs navigational safety and port operations, polluting coastlines, undermining tourism, coastal livelihoods, and the community health, amongst others. The managing director of the Nigerian Port Authority, Dr. Abubakar Dantosho, explained that the marine debris threatens biodiversity, including fish, marine mammals, and seabirds, often resulting in entanglements and ingestion. Represented at the event by the principal manager of marine at NPA, Femi Oyewole, the NPA boss said, as custodians of the Nigerian seaports, the NPA is deeply committed to advancing national and global efforts to combat marine litter and preserve the integrity of the marine ecosystem. And still to come in the news, Raducanu to face British teenager Zhu at Wimbledon. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment. Welcome back to the news within the week on Spectrum TV. Thank you for staying tuned. And now to the rest of the news stories. In health, a clinical pharmacist, Dr. Olumide Obobe, within the week, faulted Nigeria's current drug control approach, describing it as disproportionately focused on criminalizing drug users rather than offering healthcare-based interventions. He noted that existing policies often ignore the public health and human rights dimensions of drug use, resulting in more people being arrested than being referred for professional help or treatment. Furthermore, the pharmacist decried the scarcity of rehabilitation facilities, noting that fewer than 20 public drug rehab centers exist nationwide, with most of them concentrated in major urban areas. Obube noted that to address the crisis effectively, Nigeria must strengthen primary prevention efforts, particularly among the youth. He suggested school-based life skills education, tighter regulation of pharmaceutical supply chains, digital anti-drug campaign, and increased parental involvement. And still in health, the Arthur Mbane Digital Research Center at the University of Lagos has emphasized that healthcare in Nigeria must be treated not merely as a social good, but as an economic imperative. The call for increased and sustained investment in the Nigeria's healthcare system echoed during the sixth Arthur Mbane lecture. The lecture, held in Unilag, was themed "A Healthy Nation is a Wealthy Nation: The Role of Impact Investment and Sustainable Financing in Nigeria." The lecture, hosted by the Research Center, brought together top experts, health leaders, technocrats, and academics to discuss practical solutions for strengthening Nigeria's health infrastructure through strategic partnerships and innovative financing models. And now to sports, where Emma Raducanu has been drawn against teenage wildcat Mimi Shu in an eye-catching All-British first-round match at Wimbledon. Reports say if British number one Raducanu beats 17-year-old Shu, she will face either 2023 champion Marketa Vandrousova or 32nd seed McCartney Kessler in the second round. Raducanu ranked 38 in the world is not the seeded at the championships. The grass court Grand Slam begins at an All England club on Monday. And still in sports, former Flying Eagle striker Abdul Jalil Ajagun has linked up with Jordanian club Al Faisali. Ajagun joined Al Faisali from another Jordanian club, Al Hussein. The 32-year-old put pen to paper on a 3-year contract. The forward spent 2 years with Al Hussein following his arrival from the Sudanese outfit Al Hilal in 2023. He has represented Nigeria at the under 17 and under 20 level. Meanwhile, Norwegian club HamKam have completed the signing of Peter Edache from the Mahanam Football Club. HamKam made the decision to sign the youngster after he impressed during a trial at the club. Both clubs have chosen not to disclose the detail of the contract. The 18-year-old who grew up in Kaduna is noted for his impressive footballing skills. On our entertainment news, singer Gabriel Oche Amani, popularly known as Terry G within the week, said he made an indelible impact on the Nigerian music scene. The Akbako master, who led a movement of ghetto-leaning music called street hop in the 2010s, claimed it was impossible to discuss cultural impact in the Nigerian music industry without mentioning his name. He made the comment via social media against the backdrop of the recent conversations about impact and legacies in the Nigerian music industry, fueled by the rap beef between Odumodu Black and Black Bones. Lastly, in the news within the week, popular Nigerian skit maker Kata Efe on Friday lost his Instagram and TikTok accounts. The development came days after he criticized Afrobeat singer Wizkid during a live stream. Speaking in a series of posts on X, the content creator stated that his Instagram account with 1.8 million followers has been taken down by Wizkid FC and his TikTok has also been blocked. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News within the week. I am Rita Eno. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.